Bill O'Reilly here, Tuesday, March 16th, 2021. You are listening to the O'Reilly Update. Here's what's happening across our nation. Attacks against police officers jumped 300% in Chicago. Ratings for primetime cable news operations continue to decline. The Vatican says no to gay marriage. New study shows the harmful effects of daylight savings time. The most dangerous countries on earth are ranked. Also ahead, why the border is under siege. But first, crime continues to spiral out of control in Chicago. Residents there witnessing a 50% increase in violent crime, 25% jump in shootings, 300% rise in attacks against police officers. 38 people in the Windy City were shot in the last 72 hours, including a police sergeant and a 13-year-old boy. The primary reason, many judges in Chicago refuse to order high bail for violent accused criminals. Television viewership still dropping for the major cable news operations. CNN's Don Lemon has lost the biggest amount of viewers, 33%, since Election Day. Anderson Cooper on CNN dipped 32%, Chris Cuomo 29%, MSNBC's Rachel Maddow also losing 1/5 of her entire audience since Donald Trump left the White House. The Vatican releasing a statement regarding gay marriage, saying Catholic priests should refrain from endorsing homosexual unions because, quote, God will not and cannot bless sin, unquote. The document signed by Pope Francis was distributed in 7 languages to churches around the world. Christian tradition holds that the sacrament of marriage involves only a man and a woman. New study says the harmful effects of daylight savings time are pretty bad. According to researchers at Vanderbilt University in Nashville, Tennessee, the biannual event can dramatically damage a person's sleep habits and mental health. The concept was first suggested by Benjamin Franklin in 1784 to help farmers who needed more sunlight to work the fields. An annual report from International SOS ranks the most dangerous countries on earth. They are Somalia, Yemen, Iraq, and Syria. The most peaceful places? Greenland, Norway, Japan, and Switzerland. The USA is in the top 15 of safest places for the first time because of our successful vaccine rollout. In a moment, we'll take you down to the southern border. It's not good. Right back. This year marks 20 years since America's darkest day, September 11, 2001, and the Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been supporting America's frontline heroes ever since. When a first responder or military service member doesn't come home and young children are left behind, Tunnel to Towers pays off the mortgage to lift the financial burden for the family and bring their families some stability. For catastrophically injured vets and first responders, Tunnel to Towers builds mortgage-free smart homes, enabling our most severely injured heroes to live more independent lives. Our nation's heroes, people who are willing to die for us, need your help. So please don't wait. Join Tunnel to Towers on their mission to do good and help those heroes. Please donate $11 a month at T2T.org. That's T2T.org. Time now for the O'Reilly Update message of the day, President Biden and the southern border. According to a recent Rasmussen poll, 54% of likely U.S. voters feel the federal government is doing too little to reduce illegal border crossings. 73% of Republicans, 60% of voters not affiliated with a party say the government is not doing enough to reduce illegal border crossings, compared to 33% of Democrats, many of whom actually support the open border concept. 70% of all likely voters believe the government should mandate employers hire only legal workers for American jobs. Now, last month, more than 100,000 people were caught illegally entering the country on the southern border. The total number of unaccompanied minors caught entering, 9,400. That is up 60% in the last 4 weeks. So this is bad. I knew when Joe Biden said in a debate that he would order the federal government to pay the health care costs of every undocumented person in the country, that the USA would not be able to deal with the immigration problem effectively if Mr. Biden were elected president, which of course he was. And then after the election, Biden says he wants to give full amnesty to all the undocumented people here, perhaps as many as 15 million. So what did the president expect? Mexico and Central American countries are largely poor and corrupt. Folks are brutalized, routinely extorted. It's hard to make a living down there. So it's not the migrants' fault to want to have a better life for him, her, and their families. It is President Biden's fault that so many poor people are now at risk. Here's what's happening. Thousands, perhaps hundreds of thousands of migrants believe they can now walk across the border with no problem. Under the Trump administration, people caught illegally entering were turned back. They had to wait in Mexico whether they wanted asylum or anything else. They could not stay here. They were not caught and released. Now President Biden has reversed that, but with no plan. So people are now getting on buses, going all over the USA, some of them with COVID. And what is the federal response to that? Nothing. Mr. Biden will not talk to the press. So this, to me, looks like a dereliction of duty. If Mr. Biden has a plan to stop children from coming across the border, therefore the federal government has to take care of them, and we're looking at 15,000 kids right now, if Biden has a plan to mitigate that, we should hear it. But it looks like he does not. It looks like he's playing politics with the far left wing of his party. Now, this is going to lead to death. The death of children, the death of adults. Mr. Biden has a responsibility as president to address the nation and tell us what he is going to do to stop the chaos on the southern border. I'm Bill O'Reilly, and I approve the message by writing it. For more honest news analysis, please go to BillO'Reilly.com. In a moment, something you might not know. Could COVID cost you your home? Cybercrime up 75%. And the most serious of all is home title theft. Bill O'Reilly here for Home Title Lock. That's right, cyber criminals, foreign and domestic, are after our homes, and it's easier than you think. Title documents to our homes are online now. The thief finds your home's title, forges your signature on a quitclaim deed stating you sold your home to him. Then he takes out loans on your home and leaves you in debt. You wouldn't even know it happening until late payment or eviction notices arrive. Insurance doesn't cover you, neither do common identity theft programs. That's why I protect my home with Home Title Lock. The instant Home Title Lock detects someone tampering with my home's title, they shut it down. So please go to HomeTitleLock.com and register your address to see if you're already a victim. Then use code RADIO to receive 30 free days of protection. Please go to HomeTitleLock.com, HomeTitleLock.com. Now the O'Reilly Update brings you something you might not know. On this week in 1972, John Lennon and his wife Yoko Ono had a big problem. The former Beatle was living in New York City and wanted to relocate permanently to the Big Apple from England. The musician was vehemently opposed to the Vietnam War and had recently performed his song Give Peace a Chance at political rallies across the USA. It also happened to be the year President Nixon was running for re-election, and Mr. Nixon was not a fan of John Lennon. So the Nixon White House responded to Lennon's request to remain in this country by ordering his immediate deportation. The administration claimed Lennon had been admitted to the USA improperly. He had pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor charge of marijuana possession in England 4 years earlier, and immigration law at the time banned the admission of anyone convicted of a drug offense. Artists and musicians across the country petitioned Nixon to let Lennon stay. Bob Dylan penned a personal letter to the president, writing, quote, "John and Yoko inspire and transcend and stimulate. Let John and Yoko stay." With the support of New York City Mayor John Lindsay, the group launched a Let Them Stay in the USA campaign on radio and television. The movement did not change President Nixon's mind. The proceedings continued after his reelection in 1972 and then through the Watergate crisis. In the end, Nixon left the White House and Lennon stayed in the USA. In October 1975, a three-judge federal panel ruled in John Lennon's favor, declaring that his conviction in Britain failed to meet American standards of justice. Said the judges, quote, "Lennon's 4-year battle to remain in our country is testimony to his faith in the American dream," unquote. And here's something else you might not know. Sadly, John Lennon's American dream would not last very long. Just 5 years later, the 40-year-old musician was shot and killed outside his apartment in New York City by a deranged person who remains in custody. John Lennon fought to stay in this country. He won his battle, but he could not defeat the forces of evil. Back after this. Are you looking for your next investment? Bill O'Reilly here. There are 7 reasons to look at the NRIA Real Estate Development Fund. Monthly cash flow payouts of 10% annualized. Bonuses to 21% targeted. They strategically locate in lower risk, high demand areas people want to move to. New construction is short on supply. Real estate affords diversification and safety from stock market risk. Their short and long-term strategy provides for steady returns right now. NRIA is an industry leader with a 15-year proven track record. So, if you've been sitting on the sidelines or want to diversify, start your due diligence at nria.net. Or you can call 800-800-1414. That's easy. 800-800-1414.
An offer of securities is only made by the NRIA Private Placement Memorandum. Read it first. Past performance does not guarantee future results. NRIA is a real estate development firm. Learn more at nria.net.
Thank you for listening to the O'Reilly Update. I am Bill O'Reilly. No spin, just facts, and always looking out for you.